Stavros Batras, how are you? Good to see you again.
Hello, my friend. I'm fine. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So let's start at the beginning here. I wanted to actually revisit how I met you. I'll like give my memory of it, and then you can jump in and correct if I'm missing anything or if I'm not remembering it correctly. But you were part of a show on Zoom. It was a virtual comedy show, and it was being produced by my former management company. I'm no longer with them. We parted ways, but it was a cordial split. Like I got nothing but good things to say about them. It was just, time for us to part ways. But I was a guest on that show. I was doing a set. You were in the contest. And my memory of it is you did not win said contest, but you had a very, very good set, and everybody remembered you because you were from Greece.
Yeah.
And you were super cool. Like you messaged everybody. Or at least you messaged me. I don't know if you messaged everybody, but you messaged me, and you kept in touch. And I kind of thought, like, I remember I went back and forth with you on Instagram after, and you expressed like you were kind of bummed out that you didn't win, but I remember thinking, I'm like, this guy actually did win, whether he realizes it or not, because he was very funny. Everybody liked him. Everyone's going to remember him. And then he kept in touch with like other people. So it's like he did win, even though he didn't technically win said contest. I mean, I'm not a big fan of comedy contests. I just did a set because it was offered to me. But I get it. Everyone puts them on. But anyway, go ahead and jump in. Is that what you remember, or what's your take on that whole thing?
You said everything exactly like it happened. Unfortunately, I didn't win. But exactly as you said, I won. But anyway, for me, uh, you either win or you learn.
Sure.
You you never lose. I mean, maybe I lost that contest as you said, but I won another contest, the chocolate sundaes, uh, and with the audience positive vote, I made it to the La Factory. So it's okay if I didn't win one contest. Of course, you can never win. Of course, you can never, win the crowd. So everything's okay.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, more than anything, they're just the best thing you can get out of them is networking opportunities, which you've done.
Exactly.
So,
That's what I wanted
um,
to achieve by doing that show.
now you are still based in Greece.
Yeah, right now I'm still in Greece because from last January, my father was diagnosed with cancer.
Sorry.
Uh, yeah, and we've been fighting with this. But fortunately, last week he did a PCT scan and he's cancer free. He just has to do 4 more chemotherapies and we're done.
I'm thrilled to hear that. Well, congratulations on that, and I wish continued good news and good health to your father. Please give him my best.
Thank you.
So, well, let's get into it. How did you get drawn to stand-up comedy?
Well, to be honest, I think that stand up comedy was drawn to me, but I couldn't see it or I couldn't accept it. When I was a kid, all the teachers I had, all the classmates that I had, were like, Stavros, you are always the funny guy. You'll be an actor. You'll be a comedian. But I live in a small city in Greece. It's called Karditsa. And, you know, no one knows about stand-up comedy. I mean, when I won the Chocolate Sundays and made it to the Laugh Factory, the most famous comedy club in the world, the newspaper here in Karditsa wanted to write something, but they couldn't write stand-up comedy because the people wouldn't understand stand-up comedy, what it is. So we tried to translate some stand-up comedy in Greek. Um, and by the age of 23, I was studying economics at Volos here in Greece. And my friends told me, I didn't know about Instagram, about anything. um, and they told me, all this funny stuff that you say, you should upload it on Instagram. You never know who's watching you or where this is going to take you.
Mhm.
And I said, okay, I've got nothing to lose. So I started uploading funny things that I said, funny things that I did, and all this stuff. And from day one, we are here. I mean, I can't. My hands are shaking, but it's it's a blessing that I began from a small city, small village in Greece, and now from here I made it to Hollywood. I don't know. I don't know how much appreciation I have for everyone that supported me throughout this whole journey. I love stand-up comedy. I love making people happy. I mean, I think that that's my purpose of living.
That's cool, and that's really interesting, to hear you say that, 'cause I have family over in Italy, and for a while, like, they didn't understand what it was that I did. Like, I tried to explain it to my cousin a couple times, and this was some years ago, but now there's stand-up comedy everywhere in that country, and there's English stand-up and, of course, Italian stand-up, and it's like un comico is I mean, that's sort of always what it was, like comedian, but usually when you would say that, that meant like a comedic actor or like a show host. But now it's just straight up like there's just stand up everywhere. And instead of it being this kind of obscure thing, to the best of my understanding, for most comedians over there, they usually end up going to the UK. Not all the time, but a lot of times they'll end up going to the UK. But I feel like it's really becoming just a big world thing. Is that happening in Greece? Like are there shows in Greek now? Or is there English stand up in Greece? Like what's the state of the scene there?
There's no English stand-up comedy in Greece. It's only, oops, my hair. Sorry.
No, let it happen, man.
It's only, and unfortunately, we don't have comedy clubs. Stand-up comedy is not, at its best here. We have stand-up comedians, but unfortunately, there aren't so many comedy clubs. There's not a background for
Hmm.
people to, say, I'll go to this comedy club. I
Mhm.
mean, I think in whole Greece, there's only one comedy club.
What about Athens?
Yeah, in Athens. In Athens, that's the only comedy club that there is. All the other stand-up comedians are, doing shows at cinemas or at theaters or, small cafeterias and stuff like that.
So let's get into film. You've done a lot of film work, and I was looking at your IMDb. It looks like you've done a lot of kind of indie horror stuff, which is
Yeah.
really really cool. Um, Unpack that for me. How did you get into that? Like, were these productions in Greece, or what's kind of like your discography there?
No, no, no. These productions are in. The one was in Ohio, and the second one was. Oh, come on. Oh, I can't remember the place. I will. I'm sure that I'll remember it as we're talking. Um, I'm trying, not to explore, other versions of, not being only the funny guy. I tried
Okay.
horror stuff, as you said, from the Demons Within movie. I'm the demon voices. Also from the Boy from Below. I'm also the demon voices, but the other film I'm more funny. I'm doing a funny person. The Dinner with the God of War, in which the director and the star of the film is Jarrell. He's known for his role in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. He was in the Jawari tribe. I don't know how they call themselves.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I wanted, to explore more about the whole acting. I said, let's give it a try. Why not? I've got nothing to lose.
Well, how did you break into film work in the US being all the way in Greece? How did that kinda happen for you?
I had a self tape, and I when I searched on Google about roles in films, I sent the same self tape at, I don't know, everyone in the list. I
Oh,
kept
wow.
self tapes, yeah, and I said, yeah, someone's going to answer and say, yeah, you got the role, yeah, you got the role. Fortunately, there were three productions that wanted me for a role, and here we are.
Wow. Yeah, so that's just sorta like I mean, that's sorta like that's almost like the movie version of how it happens. Like, "Oh, yeah, I just sent my tape out and someone said, 'Okay.'"
Exactly like that. I was like, yes, send, 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 send. I don't know how many mails I've sent that day.
Well, was it physical mail or was it, like, email, like, you were sending links?
No, it was a video, and I sent it with the email.
Okay, gotcha, gotcha. And so, well, then what happened, like, when you told people in your small town, "Hey, I'm going to the US to make a movie," were they like, "Whoa," or were they just confused or what I mean, because I know, like, Greece has a big film industry, yeah?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right now, not at its best, but yeah, we have. So when I said to my mother that I'm going to the States, she, she was searching. She put a lawyer to search if all these people are real people, and they don't want to sell my kidney or my lungs.
Sure.
She was scared. She put a lawyer to see if everything's fine, and I said, "Mom, it's okay, don't worry." But then after the lawyer did the research for her, she was calm, and she said, "If that's your dream, go and do it. It's your life, it's your choices."
So, as far as stand-up goes, do you perform in both, when did you start performing in English? Like, did you immediately start performing in English because you were like, "Well, I'll probably be performing in places where I have to speak English," or did you, evolve to that, or how did that happen?
No, I started performing in Greek,
Uh-huh.
but when COVID started, I said it's a good chance now that everyone was shut at their homes. I said it's a good chance to do the big step, and I found lots of stand-up comedy shows that were virtually, and I said, okay, let's try it in English. It was always my dream to go to the Laugh Factory at Hollywood. Of course, I think it's everybody's dream to go there and perform. But I never thought I'd achieve this dream. To be honest, I always had that in my mind. I said maybe one day I will make it. Um, and then I started performing in English. It was kind of difficult because when I was making some jokes, you know the everyday life in Greece and the everyday life in US, it's not so not so similar.
I've heard this.
Yeah, so it was kind of difficult to make people understand the jokes that I'm saying.
Mhm.
So I started doing some adjustments about that. uh, but that came after show after show after show. I watched the reaction of the people that they watched. I watched the reactions from the other stand-up comedians. They corrected me. They said you should change that, you should add this. um, so you know what, when you perform and perform and perform and perform, you'll make some mistakes in the beginning, but eventually you'll be not perfect, because nobody's perfect, but you're starting to make
You
a
get
good.
better.
Yeah, get
You
better.
you keep getting better, you know?
Yeah,
As long as you don't go backwards, you're doing good.
exactly.
Um, that's just incredible to me because well, so did you grow up with English? Like, did you study it in school or like how long have you been speaking English?
I've been speaking English since I was 6 years old.
Okay, yeah, so you grew up okay, because your English is incredible, and, I mean, it's just mind-blowing to me, like, I speak Italian, I'm not fluent, my Italian is nowhere near as good as your English, um, but I work on it, and I keep trying to get better and better, and I have gotten better and better, but the idea of doing stand-up comedy in Italian, conveying humor and eliciting laughter, I mean, I don't always succeed at doing that in English, and I've been speaking English my whole life, I still mess up in English, and so the idea of doing it in Italian is just so my goal and I feel like I wanna make a loftier goal. My goal is to be able to do a solid 5-minute set in Italian before I die. But you know what? I would love maybe I should make it loftier and be like, I wanna be able to do a full show in Italian. Someday. I don't know, it's not gonna be next year, but
One hour?
someday
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure, unless I cheat. If I write it in English and then just use, like, Google Translate and then just
Oh, no,
recite it,
no, no.
but that doesn't count. That doesn't count. I need to be able to carry the show in Italian. Here's the all right, here's the qualifier, Stavros.
Okay,
If someone heckles me, I need to be able to handle it in
exactly.
Italian. In
That's what
Italian.
I say. If you do some crowd work with Italian people, that's the real goal. That's the real challenge.
Yeah, that's gonna be the bar. I mean, technically, I kinda did that in Rome, but it was an English speaking show, and basically, I wanted to be like, "Hey, I speak some Italian," and it's so like we did a little bit, and it was just me, and then I made a joke of it being like, "What if I just did the rest of my set in like first grade level Italian and just tried to like use the words I know?" So but yeah, that's gonna be the qualifier. I mean, well, what were some of the biggest like obstacles you found? I mean, other than just like, okay, you have a very different way of life than we do in the States. And then what started working for you? I don't remember, it was a long time ago when the show happened. So I don't remember your joke specifically, but I remember you were kind of making observations about the United States and just about culture from your perspective as a guy from Greece,
Yeah,
and that was really connecting. People really found that funny. Was that sort of the path you started taking, or
yeah. Exactly. That's the path. And I also did some voice impressions. Now, unfortunately, I can't do because I ate some spicy food and my language it's hurting me. My
oh,
language, I said, sorry, my tongue is hurting me. I have a pimple. I ate some spicy food, Mexican. Ah. So that's my let's say my signature. It's the voice impressions that I do,
okay.
these sounds that I mimic, but also the trying to make Greek stuff the American way. Let's say that.
Do you like Mexican food? I mean, just as a side note, is that like something that you got into? Is there a lot of Mexican food in Greece?
uh, Not Mexican like the American Mexican, but let's say it's good.
Okay.
Uh, that's why I don't try it here in Greece. So we were gathered with my friends and said, "Hey, let's order some Mexican." And I say, "Okay, I want the most spicy because I like spicy food." And I don't know what they put inside, but from the first bite, I understood that something's wrong. Yeah,
Spicier than you thought, or what was it? It
I
could
don't
have
know.
been a number of things.
I don't know what they had in there. Literally, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they had a dragon vomit on my on my Mexican food. It was so hot. I don't know.
Oh, okay. You misordered that. I love Mexican food. I think it's
Yeah,
wonderful.
it's good. It's good.
But
It's good.
yeah, I love Greek food too. I really yeah.
Yeah, it is the best. The best.
I love it, man. I mean, I mean, Italy and Greece are pretty close by, and so the Mediterranean diet, they're very
Yeah,
similar. So
yeah. You have you. I mean, Italians have. Pizza, we don't have pizza. We have gyros.
Right.
We
Love
have
them
gyros.
both.
We have Greek salad. I think maybe there's in Italy Greek salad. I don't know. You have the same.
I mean, I'm not like an expert, but there's definitely similar types of things. I think you can get, like a common Greek salad in Italy the same way you can here because it's just a very popular thing. I
Yeah,
mean, my wife and I actually make a version of it ourselves, just at home, and it's
you
it's
don't have feta.
probably
You don't have
huh.
feta cheese. No, feta
We
cheese. You have.
have it's not as good as it is in Greece, but we do have it.
You don't have tzatziki. You don't have lots of things that are in here in Greece.
Yeah. Well, we have our version of it. I mean, you can get tzatziki in the store, you can get feta, you can get like Greek olives and stuff, but it's not as good. It it
Yeah,
it's a acceptable substitute if it's the best you can get, but it's not the same as I mean, to really get it, you got to go to a super nice Greek restaurant or take a trip to Greece, which some I've never been and it is on my short list. I really
yeah.
want to go.
You should come.
I'd love to. We'll do the first English stand-up show in your town. I will
Oh,
come by. I'll perform with
they,
you
they don't even know English. Not my town. Let's go to Athens or Thessaloniki.
wherever, somewhere. Yeah, you pick the place, but we'll go somewhere.
Okay, okay.
We'll do an English speaking stand-up show.
We have a
I
deal.
I would love that. I would really, really love that. Well, so are you involved with like the film industry in Greece? Like, do you look for some domestic work as well or no?
To be honest, I don't want to work in the film industry. In films,
Okay.
and I'm more, I'm more attracted to the stand-up comedy. I wouldn't say no if a big film industry came and you say, "Hey, I have this role." I wouldn't say no, of course, but I'm more attracted to doing stand-up comedy because when you're in a movie, you try to bring to life someone else's uh, words in the way that they want. But when you do stand-up comedy, you get to bring to life your words in the way that you want. So it's a whole, different thing.
Sure.
I prefer stand-up comedy. I prefer stand-up comedy.
No, I hear you. I mean, I think at the end of the day, I mean, I love stand up, more than almost anything. I think more than anything, I always said like, because they always have you do this exercise where if you could only do one thing, which one would you pick? And I think in some ways it's kind of counterproductive because, well, that's not a likely scenario. So why think about it? But I get the point is to kind of like find your lane. But I feel like if I could only do one thing ever for the rest of my life and I had to choose, I would choose writing. But I love stand up and I love, I mean, you mentioned, the difference between acting and stand up. And, the one thing I would say to that is, well, the uh the scenario that doesn't fit into that box is if you wrote your own movie and acted in it yourself. Then you are
Oh,
still doing your words and your character.
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
Because that's what I
That's
did recently. Like I released my first movie recently, and it's like I
cool.
wrote it and I starred in it. I actually didn't want to. I just couldn't afford someone else to play the lead. I had to save money on the lead, like because they're like, do you always act in your own stuff? I'm like, well, right now, yeah. If
I,
someone bigger comes in,
I can't afford something else, so I'm just doing it.
yeah, like I gotta afford this guy for the main dude. He's cheap.
Congratulations for your first movie. I wish all the best.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, I'll have to. You have to come to one of the virtual screenings that I do. I do some screenings over Zoom so people can come attend wherever they're at in the world. But yeah.
I'd love to.
So what do you plan? Do you plan to stay in Greece or like kind of what is the long term scenario for you?
The long-term scenario is to stay there, to come to US and stay there. I'm just
Hmm.
having trouble with my O1 visa. It's kind of difficult to get that visa. I have a
I've
lawyer there.
heard.
Yeah,
I've
I have
heard.
a
I
lawyer.
mean, I have some friends that are doing the thing, like usually friends from Italy who are doing the visa thing here in the United States. I mean, I've had to get visas for other places, and it sounds like the way we do it in the U.S. It's just brutal for anyone who wants to get it.
Why you're so strict about the visas. But yeah, from September, I've been talking with a lawyer at Los Angeles, and she's helping me, gather all this paperwork that needs to, you know, to for the credentials. Yeah, now I remember the word. They need some credentials for the O1 visa.
Hmm. And then
But
how
my
long? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I wanted to say that my plans are to come there and stay, hopefully as long as I can, if you accept me to stay there.
Yeah, well, I think that that visa is good for 3 years, right? Isn't that usually how it
Yeah,
works? I've always heard 3 years. Okay. All right, yeah, because friends of mine, even friends of mine who are touring musicians, like even the visa to just not even stay, but to come and perform, it's like good for 3 years, and it's
yeah.
not cheap. So when they get it, they're like, "I'm gonna be touring the states a lot because I want to get the most out of this. Like, it's good for 3 years. I'm gonna freaking use it." Yeah, it's interesting. It's really interesting to me
Yeah, yeah.
how all of that works, and then I know over in your side of the world, everything is kind of strange right now because of Brexit, because it used to be the EU and the UK could just go for creative ventures and there was no problem. Well, now there's some
There's
weirdness and that apparently they're trying to work it out, but each side is blaming the other. I
like it,
only go ahead.
like it always happens. I mean,
Oh, of
every
course.
yeah, the one side is blaming the others blaming us. So yeah, the story goes on.
You never thought about going somewhere in the EU though? Like you never thought because wouldn't that be infinitely easier for you?
It could be much better, but I've made some good connections in the US.
Okay.
So I say it might take you longer, but you'll make it there. Maybe it will take you a bit longer, but you'll go there. So I'm just waiting, and right now at the current situation with my father, I wouldn't leave anyway. I wouldn't leave
Right.
anyway.
Right. Do you think you would pick LA or would you consider New York? Or even like I mean, there's other places you could even consider too. I mean, the reason I asked that question is because I mean, this is really just like a broad brushstroke, but LA is the film and TV town, New York is the stand-up town.
That's what I was about to say. That's why I had this face. I mean, I'll go to LA for the Laugh Factory show, the first impressions, but I think I'll choose the New York because, as you said, New York is more with stand-up comedy. I think there's a Gotham Comedy Club.
Oh, there's a bunch, man. I mean, Gotham is there, stand up New York. I mean, same with LA. I mean, there's just clubs and rooms everywhere. It's not I mean, I can give you like a brief little thing. I don't want to get too far off on it, but the reason historically is New York is a much more kind of dense place with a really good subway system. And LA is the land of the car. And LA was kind of built to be a big thing in the film industry.
Yeah.
So for many years in New York, it was possible as a stand up comedian to go from club to club and do paid spots. And at the end of the night, you got 900 or $1,000 in your pocket. Now, those days are over, unfortunately. Those days are you can still make some money, but you can't make what you could make back then. You can't make a living at just that anymore. You got to do the road and stuff like that. But even still, that sort of like anatomy has continued, and New York is more the stand-up town and the theater town. LA is more the film and TV town. So it's
Yeah.
like if stand-up is your first love, you're better off in New York or Boston even than you would be in LA.
Canada.
Huh?
Canada,
Toronto.
Toronto.
Toronto's one of my favorite towns to perform in. I love Toronto. Toronto, yeah, I mean, I guess a similar analogy is like Toronto is more the stand-up and theater town, and Vancouver is more the film and TV town in Canada. So, yeah. But I mean, honestly though, man, stand-up is everywhere. There's still a ton of opportunities that exist in LA. So really it's like, I mean, you could end up doing cruise ships out of LA. I mean, you could do that in New York too. But like, so really it doesn't matter that much. But if you're coming all the way over to the United States,
You should.
and stand up's your first thing, then yeah, I mean, New York should probably be your pick. But it
Okay.
is a little cheaper in LA, a little bit. They're both expensive, but LA is a little bit cheaper.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for the advice.
No problem. I don't know if it was useful, but you're welcome. Well, that's interesting. And then you have representation, correct?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh, how did that happen? Unpack that for me.
I think that happened after my show at Chocolate Sundays because
Okay.
before that, uh, nobody knew me.
Mhm.
And after that show, there came the representations, and I say, "Whoa, we're in the right path. We're doing something right." Firstly, I checked if the email is right because scammers are everywhere.
Right.
When I saw that the email was legit, I was like, "Whoa, whoa." The thing that they write at the Chocolate Sundays, they say you never know who's watching. You do. You never know who's watching you. So you always try to give your best self, and that I couldn't. How can I say that? If you asked me a year ago before my show, representation, stand-up comedy, uh, LA, Laugh Factory, Chocolate Sundays, first impressions, I would say no. There's no way that you managed to do all this. But dreams exist, to be fulfilled. Um, I'm really proud for the from the representation, and I can't wait to you know prove them that uh, they did the right choice to represent me.
Sure. Well, I mean, I guess in closing here, what would you say kind of helped you get to where you're at now? I mean, you keep mentioning, yeah, I have a dream, I chase my dream, but I mean, you also kind of put in the work. So would you say and you seem to have a really just positive outlook, like you're just an instantly likable guy. And it's obvious, like even in like my first interaction with you, it was obvious to me that you work very hard, that you are, like, but also just a genuinely sincere guy. And it kind of draws people to you. So how would you describe that?
I'd say that if you don't work hard enough, you never are going to make your dream come true. I believe that uh, you need also hard work, and you also need talent.
Hmm.
Uh, Talent itself won't make you to the top. Hard work will make you to the top. So if you keep focusing on something, but that's for me. I don't know if everybody does that. When I set a goal, I always achieve it. I mean, not only in stand-up comedy. As you saw at my post on Instagram last January, I was weighing 115 kilos. I had, given up on fitness and anything. I was 115 kilos. Oh my God. And right now I'm 75 kilos. And in 3 weeks, I'm running my first half marathon.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, last year, I said, okay, that's enough. You are 27 years old, and don't want to have this look. I changed my way of life, and I put a goal, and I said, you're going here to run your first half marathon. You'll lose kilos. You'll go to the gym. You'll change your way of life, just like you did in stand-up comedy, you work hard, you will make it to, you'll achieve your goal. And that's what happened also at my, the whole lifestyle.
Hmm.
So you should just keep focusing on eyes on the prize, eyes on the prize.
What all did you do? Was it like mostly dietary, or was it diet and exercise, or was it a
Diet,
combination thereof?
combination, but diet was the most, everyone thinks that, the abs are made in the gym. No, abs are made in the kitchen.
Mm.
Because even if you work out for 3 hours and you eat two pizzas, it's
No, I
like,
hear you.
yeah. So I was like having a very strict diet that I followed, and also going to the gym 6 times a week, and 3 times I had training both in the morning and in the afternoon.
Nice. Yeah, I think you're right. Abs are made in the kitchen, and unless pasta starts making abs, I'm kind of screwed. But I accepted that a while ago. Where can people go to learn more about you? Go ahead and plug away. Where can they find you on social media?
They can find me on my Instagram page. I don't have any other social media. I use my Facebook, but rarely. My Instagram is I am Stavrakis. I don't know if you can put it
Yeah, it'll be
somewhere.
in all the links. Yeah, yeah.
They maybe they don't know how to write my name. Uh, and that's the only social media I have. Just Instagram.
Nice. Stavros, thanks so much for doing this. It was awesome to talk to you.
Thank you so much for having me at your show. It was really great, and I enjoyed talking to you.